I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and we're just seeing what KT Camp wants not the world, but Canada to know. And we're talking about the tax revolt. Have you guys heard about that?
No, I can go get who's in charge of this camp.
Sure.
But it would be great if you could not film around because these are people's homes. So just wait until we can speak with the leader of this camp because yeah, it's people living here. So
sure, it's a public park though, right?
It's homes.
It's homes. Yeah, I'll be very respectful, but it is a park, right?
Okay. So it would be great if you could not film people personally.
Okay. Well, the gentleman was actually he invited me in here, and I had his permission.
Very
to film
clever
him.
touch. The black. Black is a clever touch. This is a public park designated, but it's native land.
Yeah, I'm actually indigenous
that's
too.
What it is.
I'm black and indigenous.
No, you're black. You're not indigenous.
No, excuse you.
Stop.
Oh, apparently he knows who I am more than I do.
No, yeah, of
I know
course.
you're not native Indian.
Stop. That's not true. Stop. Go away. Okay. I'll go speak with the leader of this camp. Until then, it would be great if you could just refrain from filming people and filming.
Okay, well, I'll keep filming. This is journalism. This is Canada. I'm allowed to film, but I will be very respectful, and I'd love to speak to whoever's running the camp. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, so I spoke with the leader. She's on her way.
Okay.
But first, we need you to do protocol at our sacred fire.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what is that?
That's putting tobacco in as an offering to the sacred fire. That's over on this side.
An offering to the sacred fire. That sounds like religious, right?
It's indigenous, yeah.
Okay, so I'm indigenous, but I'm Christian.
Okay.
So am I forced to practice a different religion to be here in this public park, or?
Yeah, on stolen land, this is the protocol that we use here. Everyone that comes by is asked to put tobacco in the fire, regardless of religion. There's many people who are religious of different religions that come to do protocol. It's being respectful to our elder who is here keeping the sacred fire. So
okay, so so I understand, is the fire representative of some sort of like spiritual god? Am I doing some sort of offering to something, or?
It's a prayer fire, so that can be to whatever god that you are praying to. It's a prayer fire. It's not definite on any kind of god or religion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not specific to any god or religion. It's kind of like going to the Mandarin buffet restaurant. Let's see, I'll have a couple of Quranic verses, a chapter from the New Testament. Oh, this line from the Torah, that looks pretty good. I guess when you stand for everything, you really stand for nothing. Strike that, because really, what do these squatters actually stand for, given that they seem wholly unable to articulate their positions? And joining me now to discuss her descent into tent city madness is Drea Humphrey. Welcome to Rebel Roundup, Drea.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend. So Drea, first of all, who are these people and what do they want? Because they may talk all about a sacred fire or a sacred circle or a sacred whatever, but that looked like a tennis court to me.
Yeah, well, it was a tennis court, and I guess that's where they have their kitchen and their setup and everything like that. And I'm not sure how they became the leaders of the camp or anything like that. It's quite interesting. I know while I was talking, someone just came and handed a coffee over to one of them, like it's just like no big deal. And it was kind of like they were the queens of the encampment.
You know, it is amazing to me that they are clearly disobeying the laws of the land. They must be violating several sections of Vancouver's Trespass Act. And so they're saying, well, we don't recognize the law. I'm assuming this is unceded land, the whole drill. And then when someone like you comes over to practice journalism, they're like the heavy-handed colonialists coming down, enforcing their rules, rules that are actually entrenched. They don't follow. I mean, what I'm getting at, Drea, is that the hypocrisy is stunning here.
It really is. I mean, at what point as Indigenous people is it okay to do that? That's the whole complaint, is that some people under the name of Christianity we're indoctrinating and colonizing and forcing things on people. And then here I am, Black and Indigenous, and I'm being told that I can't go on a public park, I can't do journalism unless I sort of bow down and do some sort of spiritual offering that I know nothing about. I mean, it's totally hypocrisy.
Andrea, can we focus too on the law enforcement angle here? It's clearly illegal what they're doing. It looks like they've been there for a long time. We've had in this city, in Toronto, run-ins with a group of squatters called Afro-Indigenous Rising. They took over Nathan Phillips Square for 3 weeks. They took over Dufferin Grove Park for 2 weeks. They're belligerent, they're violent. The camps they set up were unhygienic. They were violating 11 sections of the Trespass Act. But it seems that the mayor is in the position here of taking the knee and saying, pretty please, won't you go? Pretty please with sugar on top. I guess what I'm saying is, what is the role of the mayor and law enforcement there in terms of getting these people to obey the law?
Well, I do know that this is pretty much the third encampment. So it started at 2 other locations and then got taken down, and now it's gone to Strathcona Park and it's kind of blown up. So I do know that there has been steps before for this type of thing to be removed, and I think my guess is that they're trying to approach it a little bit differently. So it is like an ongoing problem, but the bylaws of the tents having to be taken down every morning at 7 a.m. so that it can be a public park in the day for anybody to walk through. That's just not being enforced at all.
It's amazing because I think that might have been the same park. It was definitely a Vancouver park. Last September, I was in Vancouver. It was for a different assignment, Drea. And on local Vancouver radio, all the stations were leading with, at 6 p.m., that's it. The deadline's done. The cops are coming in. If the squatters aren't gone, it's going to be basically a forcible removal. So I whipped over to the park an hour before teardown time. 6 p.m., came and went. Nothing happened. There were notices all over the park on the fences. You have until 6 p.m. to vacate the premises. Just when I was packing up, after I made the video of this being a big nothing burger, I see all these police cruisers, these Vancouver police come. I go, oh, okay, it's showtime. Oh no, Drea, they were there to escort a protest of people in support of the squatters. They weren't tearing it down. They were adding another log onto the fire. What is going on in this city?
I think it's, as far as I can see, it's an ongoing problem in BC in general. I know the same thing has happened in Maple Ridge. I know it's happening right now in Victoria. So it's really complicated, and I don't know what it is. I think the political correctness has jumped into it. I think that's a lot of the reason why we don't see the bylaws being enforced or things getting removed when they're supposed to. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but I think you're right. It is political correctness, but Lady Justice, she is shown with a blindfold on. All these kind of factors shouldn't have anything to do with the enforcement of the law. And if you let this kind of stuff go, you end up with a Portland. And I would bet you the majority of the citizens in Vancouver are sick and tired of this garbage, and they want something to be done. One last question, Drea. I thought the most squirm-inducing moment in your video is when you had this white guy, and this guy was whiter than Snow White, and he's questioning your racial resume in terms of you being allowed to be in this occupied tennis court. What did you make of that guy's chutzpah?
Oh, it's such a mess. I don't even think he was questioning. He was like stating that I wasn't who I was. I thought it was hilarious. We're seeing that so much nowadays. You have these left extreme liberal white people who come after things like Black conservatives, or in this case, just a Black Indigenous journalist trying to bring freedom of the press. And they're so strong because it's almost like a brainwashing thing. It's like does not compute. There is a Black Indigenous who's not wanting to do exactly what we're doing. It's like it doesn't compute. So he was just speaking his mind and going off, and I'm just like, oh, this is just so illogical, so ridiculous. And, you know, it's funny, even that young girl, she's just like, no, go away, because I don't know where he came from. He was getting his coffee and felt he knew more about me than I knew about myself, really.
Well, I'll tell you, Drea, my jaw was on the linoleum watching that little interchange. And I just long for the good old days when people would go to a park to, I don't know, have a picnic, play some baseball. Now you go to the park and all you do really is play hop, skip, and a jump to avoid the excrement and the needles that are on the ground. So let's hope somebody mans up in Vancouver and returns the parkland to the citizens who pay for it. Thank you so much for an excellent report, Drea.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Well, folks, bringing you the other side of the story does not come cheap. Sometimes we need security in order to bring you the other side of the story because there are forces afoot that don't want us to bring you the other side of the story. If you can, please go to journalistdefensefund.com. That's journalistdefensefund.com and make a donation.